Hi everyone. I wanted to talk a little bit about acceptance today. And the reason I was thinking about this is that I've got some training coming up out of America on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday morning, and it starts at 3:30 in the morning. So why talk about acceptance? The main reason is that this is the third time I've done this kind of training, which really starts in the middle of the night. One of them even started, I think it was 1:30 in the morning, and then funnily enough we had a daylight savings change, and so on the third night when I was a little bit shattered, I was there half an hour early because of daylight savings. Anyway, I'm going to be checking that carefully this time and make sure I don't do that again. But before the lead up to that first one, I remember for a few weeks feeling a bit anxious about it, or just worried about how I was going to cope and manage with that. And just, I'm always good at dealing with jet lag. I've been very fortunate to have travelled quite a lot, and I cope well with jet lag, particularly going there, when it's exciting. I just make sure I'm up, I'm out for the day. I have strategically placed coffees as I go, and manage that fine, and make sure no matter how little sleep I've had, in perhaps a 24-hour journey to get to Europe or something, that I stay up till at least 8 at night, and then get myself set as quickly as possible. And so really that's how I see these trainings that I'm doing out of America. I think even last night started trying to get to bed early, getting up early, so for a few days before I start, rather than worry about it or wonder how I'm going to go, how I'm going to cope, how I'm going to manage with this difficult situation and flip myself straight into one time zone and back into another, I just spent a couple of days getting ready for that, in a sense. So tomorrow I'll get up at maybe 4:30 in the morning. Now for some people that's normal. For me it's not, because I'm a bit of a night owl. I stay up late, and I still get up 6:45 in the mornings, or 6:30 I think my alarm goes off, something like that. But 4:30 seems a bit rough, when you're used to being in a deep sleep at that point. So what I found really helped was that even a few days before the first time I did training like this, I just Googled how to, flight attendants and air crew manage this, because this is the life they lead. They have to do it all the time. So I got a couple of tips there, and then just decided it's going to be okay. I'll just do it. And that was where the acceptance came in, and then my mind settled. I didn't need to worry about it anymore. So I think acceptance is a huge thing across the board. I remember as a parent with very young children just feeling like a zombie all the time. I remember one day I was living in Los Angeles and with my daughter at the park and swinging her on a swing, and I seriously was so exhausted. But when I realised all I needed to do was accept that exhaustion and cope with it and not worry about it, it got easier. So it's exactly the same, with this situation or other situations. Now, I'm not saying stick in situations of violence or, anything that's intolerable or not acceptable. I'm not saying accept those kinds of things. But there's a lot of situations where we suffer so much more than we need to because we're not accepting the situation, whatever that might be. And even to the point where, if someone, for instance, has had an awful experience where they've had multiple miscarriages and they're pregnant again, a lot of the time they can really suffer during that process because they're worried the whole time. And when we can flip that somewhat, obviously they need proper medical care and checkups and to be very careful there. But that worry, that suffering adds to the issues that they're experiencing, and really, it just creates enormous anxiety. Whereas just flipping the situation somewhat so that, they realise, I've got to change my arm's getting sore. As you know, I need a selfie stick. But just flipping that situation so that they, in their mind, recognise, okay, I've made this choice, this is something I really want to do, and it's not going to help any way whatsoever or any way whatsoever to be worrying about this, and just to be able to surrender to it and accept the worry really it can be quite transformative, can really change things for people. So acceptance can come in all shapes and sizes, but it takes just a little bit of processing to be able to get to the point where we can do that. And the first part is just really realizing what we're doing and what we're getting hooked up in, and challenging that. You know, is it helpful to be thinking that way? What's it doing for me? You know, what are the costs and benefits? You know, the pros and cons here. And challenging some of those ideas. And a lot of the time, with certain things, you know, there's a lot to be said for just rolling with it and accepting the situation, because then we stop suffering so much. Anyway, just a little tidbit on the importance of acceptance. Have a great night, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next live stream. Bye. See if I can turn that off.